So I'm going to share something funny with you guys. During my wedding, during the reception part, we thought it would be funny. They had this grand piano. Nobody was playing it, but there was a piano, like a staging area. Just it was there. So we thought it was funny to put framed pictures of celebrities congratulating us that couldn't attend the wedding. Okay. So in Photoshop, so we had a bunch of these, like 8x10s, and I made it up, on the computer or whatever. But I did find their real signatures online. So this one's Martha Stewart. It says, Nurit and Scott, the perfect recipe for a memorable wedding is a beautiful venue, a delectable menu, and 2 charming hosts. Congratulations, Martha Stewart.
That's so cute.
We had one from LeBron James. Again, all these are made up. Nurit and Scott, sorry I couldn't take my talents to Boca Raton tonight. Mazel tov from LeBron James. I'm just looking through a box in this room that I'm in. Of course, President Obama was the president during our wedding. So Nurit and Scott, your marriage has the presidential seal of approval and has a signature.
Love it.
Will and Kate were married just a year or so before us. So Nurit and Scott, congratulations to the newlyweds. And this is the signatures for each of them from online that I found. And then we also had one in Disney font saying, Nurit and Scott, now that you're married, what's next? See you real soon. It says, love Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse.
Very cute.
And then we also had one from our cats. Hold on, let me show the one from our cats. Okay. So we had just cats at the time, no children. But mom and dad, it says, we love you. XOXO Ariel, that's our girl cat. Our boy cat, who unfortunately passed away since, but he said, please bring home leftovers.
Wow. Well, thank you, Nurit. I was actually talking and I didn't realize that I had myself muted for the last couple minutes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And here I interrupted you because I just figured.
No, you're awesome.
Oh,
you're awesome.
That was very cute.
Thank you for that. Thank you for being improv with that one.
You must be like, what the hell?
That's why no one raised their hand.
My class, right?
So sorry for that. So is anyone feeling any neck or shoulder pain, cramping, anything?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was like, nobody raised their hand. I didn't realize you guys didn't hear me.
We were looking at pictures.
Okay, well, they were awesome. Well, let me. We're gonna get started. Let me meet you guys, and I see what I did wrong there. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome. I'm Matthew Hamburger, and we're about to embark on a functionally balancing posture police class. So, yeah, let's all come to stand. This is how my new way, the last month or so of starting every class. So set that down real quick. You can put it on the ground. That's perfect. Whatever you gotta do. So let's just come. As everyone knows, we need a chair, and that chair can act as our stabilizing source. If you don't have a chair, then you need a chair, but I know everyone has a chair. A corrective cane, I know many of you guys have it, but let's go and open our feet shoulder width apart, and let's just move. And what I call these little hip wiggles, just go from side to side. And with posture police, how we blend physical therapy, I like 3 P's. In all different orders, but P is pain. Pain is why many of us are here. Everything cool, Lily? You can't hear me? Okay. Let me switch out the batteries. Let me make sure. Today's full of problems. Be better. You guys got me better? Awesome. This is the first time the batteries ran out on me. I guess today's one of those whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So let's go into a hip wiggle. And the first P is pain. We're all here because we want to either prevent, avoid, relieve pain. So if you feel pain in today's class, respect that limit. This is not a no pain, no gain kind of a class. And I know you guys have all heard that before. So from these little hip wiggles, let's transition and get our blood pumping into our hip, and let's lift our knees high and just little simple knee highs. This leads right into the second P of perception, where we really want to gain that greater awareness and arguably mindfulness of our body. So right off the bat, pay attention to which side feels more stable. Usually there's a difference. If you don't notice a difference, that's even something noteworthy. Notice, do you lean forward? Do you lean back? Do you lean to the side? Are you really keeping yourself and putting all your focus into keeping yourself straight? And now let's suck our belly button in. Theoretically, we should be better. Theoretically. And for you posture police regulars, I challenge you to notice if there's a change. If maybe your left is always more stable and today you feel more stable on the right, that's a big change. That's amazing if that happens. But let's transition back after this one into our hip wiggles again and challenge the limit. Sometimes I like to put my fingers on my hips just like this, and it's like we're pushing as far our finger out as possible. Feel that stretch. You might even feel this in your lower back. It's very normal to feel it into the inner thigh. Excellent. And let's do this for 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Let's grab our corrective cane or stabilizing source. I know many of you are using a chair at home. Chair works perfectly. We just want, like the chair that I have here is not good enough. So I just want to let you know that the reason why is we want it to be tall enough so we can stand and our hand be there. So everyone in studio, if you could take 2 steps or 3 steps forward, let's hold the corrective cane on the floor with our left hand. Let's lift our left knee as high as possible. Keep the knee bent as we kick back. There's so many things to notice when we do this. And as a reminder of what you should be paying attention to, this is called a knee glute. So on the way forward and up, we really want to focus on getting our knee as high as comfortably or reasonably possible. On the way back, we really want to activate our glute. It's super common to feel a little cramp in the hamstring or an ache in the lower back. Sometimes we feel them both at the same time, and that's not necessarily a problem. So going with the second P of perception that I paused a little bit. So with perception, we really want to be aware of our pain, like the first P. And so if you ever feel any ache, soreness, stretch, tightness, or cramping, those are good sensations for this class. If you're sitting around and you get a little cramp, that's not a good thing. But to feel it here, we'll do 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Let's switch to the other side. We could do a little hip wiggle. No one's ever going to fight a hip wiggle. And I'll go into the third P in a few minutes. So holding on with our right hand now, lifting our right knee as high as possible. Keep that knee bent as we kick back. and notice how it feels different from one side to the other. You might notice more range of motion. You might realize one side just feels better, smoother, looser, whereas the other side might feel tighter. You might realize you feel one side more in the hip and the other side more in the leg. All common ways that our body would interpret the signal. How are you feeling? Harder than you think, because we all tend to have such tight hip flexors and hamstrings, and that leads us to having weak glutes, which is why this is like the perfect targeted. We'll do 3, 2, 1. Awesome stuff. And let's just knee highs again just to see how it feels different. It might be easier to lift your knees up. One thing I noticed from watching myself in the video is when I suck my belly button in, I stay straighter. So that's one thing I've always noticed. Yeah, none of us are really balanced. We're just trying to find balance. Let's do one more on each side. Excellent. We are going to grab our chair. You're perfectly fine to keep it where. We're going to do a hamstring stretch. So we're actually going to put our hands on the back of the chair. Stand about a foot or about 2 to 3 feet away. It's really, everyone's different depending on the height of your chair. From here, I know everyone that is watching right now knows where your hamstrings are, but we're going to attempt to guess which side we believe is tighter. So let's start with the side that we believe is tighter. So how we start with that side, like I'm going to start with my left. So that means I'm going to keep my left foot on the ground, cross my right foot over my left. From here, we want to bend our knees, stick our butt all the way out, and lean on the chair while we lift our chest up. And this is when the third P comes into play, where that third P is prana. We want to make sure, we do operate out of a yoga studio, so we really want to make sure that we're breathing. This stretch, we tend to hold our breath. So you should feel it somewhat in the hamstring. And if you're not feeling it, let's take a deep breath here. And even if you are feeling it, let's bend our knees a touch more and stick our butt a lot more out and feel and enjoy that stretch. If you're not enjoying it, just smile. The smile will make it more enjoyable, I promise. Deep breath here. You're doing awesome, Norit. I'm sure you're feeling this after it's been a little while since a PP class. And we're going to enjoy this just for a little bit longer. One last deep breath in. And if you have it in you, put your hips a notch further back for 3, 2, 1. And slowly come to stand. Just a little hip wiggle. So we do hold our stress in our hips, our glutes, our hamstrings. And right after this, we're going to do a nice enjoyable stretch on our quad. So notice we're doing the opposite side. So exact same thing where we cross the foot over the other. If you're doing the same side, you're doing it wrong. We're going to bend our knees, stick our butt out, lean forward, and lift our chest up. Right off the bat, notice how it feels different. Were you right? Was the previous side tighter? I was wrong today. And let's remember to breathe. You don't need to do any miraculous or special kind of breathing. I'd rather actually you focus on how the muscle feels and just ensure that you're breathing. So however you breathe, just listen to your body. And let's take a deep breath. And as we breathe out, let's sink our hips back a little bit further. Maybe bend your knees a little more. And you might be bending your knees too much. That's a possibility too. Everyone's a little bit different. Our hamstring tendons might be tighter or looser than one another's, and then the muscle itself might be tighter or looser than one another. As much as all of our hamstrings are tight, we're all different degrees of tightness. Another deep breath here. And I welcome you to sink deeper if your body is saying yes. And notice if one of the sides you feel it in your lower back, whereas the other side you didn't. Or if one side you feel it on the calf and the other side you don't. Just want you to gain that full awareness of your body. And we'll enjoy this for 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Do a little hip wiggle. Let's take that hip wiggle full circle, literally. Let's do what I call my favorite imaginary exercise. So bend your knees and do the hula hoop. You can close your eyes and imagine you're doing a hula hoop, but challenge that hip range of motion. Feel that tightness in maybe your hip. A lot of people think of our hip flexors, but our hip flexors are really right in here. So it's very common that as you push forward and you keep your knees bent, you'll feel it in one or both of your hip flexors. You also might feel it in your lower back or your butt. There's so many little areas. And unless you've been switching back and forth, let's make sure to go the other direction. Some stuff. Beautiful. All right. So let's grab our corrective cane or stabilizing source one more time, and I'll let you pick whichever side you want to do this time. So let's test ourselves out. So let's make sure we have the clearance from the chair behind us. You get some forward, back, it's up to you. And let's really listen to your body. So lift that knee, keep the knee bent as we kick back. And another thing to notice is on our standing leg, make sure you have a slight bend in the knee. It's very common to get a further kick and to get a greater range of motion that will lock our knee. I believe us standing with locked knees is the most common posture violation that I write posture citations for. And notice if you're able to breathe consistently or if your breath is sticking. And after this one, let's just pause, because this is setting us up for the hamstring hip flexor stretch. So we're going to do 3 more on this same side. So 3 last ones on this side. And really kick it back. Awesome. 2. And last one. And actually, if you're feeling a little bit more of that ache in the lower back, that's a good sign. So that's something that will increase as we get a greater glute activation. So switching to the other side. And let's rinse and repeat. So knee as high as possible. Keep the knee bent as you kick back. If you can keep a little mini bend in your standing knee, that's always wonderful. And notice that bit of a stretch maybe in the hip, or you just feel that tension build up in the lower back. And let's pause here. Just do one little hip wiggle. Pause with your foot down, not up. And 3 last ones over here. Really slow, really deliberate. Feel that glute activation, the glute tighten. Awesome. You guys are doing great. We're actually going to set our corrective cane down again, and we're going to grab the back of our chair once again. This is where we're doing the little quad hip flexor stretch. So I want you to listen to your body to decide which side we're going to start with. We're going to do both sides. We're just going to grab one of our legs. We really want to hold on to the chair. Make sure that our standing knee has a slight bend in it. We don't really want to lock that knee. And let's just start pulling back. Just get to that point where it's like you're not sure if it's comfortable or uncomfortable. And let's take a deep breath here. And just hang out right here for a little bit longer than you probably want. I welcome you to grab your ankle more than your foot if you want some better leverage. It might be a little harder. And while we're doing this, let's just maybe pull our shoulder up a little bit. Pull our arm up. Feel that maybe a little bit more of a tightness happen. I welcome you now to lift your chest up. Holding in this, I would assume we're all going to feel a stretch in the hamstring, or I mean the quad. Sorry, I had to correct that one quickly. And if we really choose to kick back, much like, I believe it's one of the dancer poses in yoga, I think, then you may begin to feel that stretch in the hip flexors. It's very normal, but keep lifting your chest up. It's a little bit more deliberate of feeling that stretch. And notice if you're holding your breath, because we really want to breathe. Deep breath in and slowly breathe out. Let's take a little breather. We're going to do this one more time on this side just to go a little deeper into the stretch before we switch. And let's do one. We'll do a 5-second count for this same side. And I'll actually do it as a 5-second count. So let's get into it. And when we're ready, most of you are looking good. Doing okay, Lily? And we'll hang out here. Deep breath in. Enjoy this for 5, 4. Go a notch deeper if your body says yes. 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Let's do a little hip wiggle. Notice how different we feel from one side to the other. And it's almost like there's 2 completely different dimensions to that stretch. It could be a full quad stretch, or if you're able to get that leverage point, then it becomes the hip flexor stretch. And you can leave it as both. Like if you're looking to dive right in and do this when you get off and you're sitting all day, this is amazing. So let's switch to the other side. And before we even go into the stretch, notice how it feels different. Okay? And notate that maybe this side is tighter or looser. And maybe there's a reason that when I asked you to listen to your body, that our body usually chooses the path of least resistance first. Our bodies are incredible. From that point where, notice where you're feeling it differently. For me, I feel it more in my leg, less in my hip. Let's do that. And deep breath in here. Let's lift our chest up. And however you choose, you're welcome to kick the foot and the ankle into the arm, or you can bring your shoulder up and your arm up, or both. We just don't want to overwhelm our hip and our body. We want to be able to breathe fluidly while we're doing this. Deep breath in. And we'll take a break in 3, 2, 1. And I like to take a break while still holding, but awesome stuff. So we're going to go that last few seconds, and let's grab it again. We're focusing on here and our hip. You feeling it in the lower back a little? That might be from circulation. All right, maybe. So making sure that our standing knee has a slight bend. And let's go back to it. Get to the point where we feel like we can give ourselves 5 to 10 seconds and it be intense. So deep breath here. And if you can go deeper in, I welcome it for 5, 4. You can breathe out whenever you want. 3, 2, 1. Excellent stuff. Let's just do a little hip wiggle before we do a set of squats and we move on from the lower body. We're just going to do 1 set of squats. Nothing crazy. So for these squats, we really want to get the glutes activated. We want to balance out our hips because that's what we targeted for the lower half of our body. With our hands, we want to keep our hands level with our ears or so, and we want to keep our elbows in. So this is challenging our shoulders to get in a good position to keep our spine straight. So keeping our feet shoulder width apart, I welcome you, if you're into it, to lift your toes up. We're going to stick our butt out. And when we feel like we're ready, we're going to squeeze our butt all the way up. Think about squeezing your butt about 10,000 times more than you think. It's physically impossible, but we're going to do the best we can. Squeeze your butt. If this gives you a little bit of tremble or shake in your hips or your legs, that's not a bad sign. That's a good one. And we'll enjoy 4 more of these, squeezing our butt as hard as humanly possible. Two more. Excellent stuff. So before we grab a seat, we're going to do a couple things to get some blood pumping. And let's do a little Tai Chi twist. An interestingly controversial exercise. I find it interesting that people find it controversial, but some people do. I like it. I think it serves us. And while we're getting that blood into our shoulders a little more, let's deliberate the motion to our shoulders and the blood flow. Opening up our feet shoulder width apart, bend our knees and put the back of our hands together. So make sure we have a slight bend in the knees. The most important thing for this one is we want to keep our hands level with our shoulders while we pull back and rotate. So I know everyone knows, almost everyone knows, this is called the monkey fly. The reason I call it a monkey fly is because it's the movement of a reverse fly. And I believe with the shoulder rotation, it makes our shoulders as mobile as a monkey, activating our weaker of our rotator cuff muscles. Awesome stuff. We'll do 4 more, squeezing our shoulder blades together a little bit more deliberately. Maybe you'll feel a stretch in the shoulders. The chest. Enjoy. 2. Last one. 1. Awesome stuff. And let's sniff it out. So I call this a sniff. A sniff is when we just stand in a pretty relaxed position, raise our shoulder blades all the way up, open our mouth a little while we just let our shoulders drop and just naturally exhale. If you think about exhaling, you're thinking too much. So now it's called the sniff because we inhale on the way up. Super effective way at physically relieving our physical stress. So we hold a lot of stress in our shoulders. And let's do 5 more. And just while we're standing here, let's just evaluate. Are your knees locked? If they are, I just want you to notice it. Let's go grab a seat on our chair. Excellent. So now that we just had a moment to sit and relax, let's just deliberately come away from the back of our chair. Lift our chest up a little bit. And let's just breathe kind of naturally. Just feel what we're feeling in our body. Maybe you feel some tightness in your upper shoulders. Maybe you feel yourself pulling forward or wanting to lean back, or you're feeling a little bit of a throb in your lower back because we got a lot of activation in our lower back. There's a lot we could feel. But regardless of what we feel, we just want to notice it. We want to acknowledge it. And if we can apply all of what we learn into life when we're sitting on a couch or when we're driving or even your next yin yoga class, even if it's literally the class right after mine, we want to really feel that and use the perception that we gain with posture police and apply it to other areas of life. So we're going to go into pretty much a posture police version of pigeon. So we're going to cross one of our legs over the other to stretch our hips. I really love this version of our seated figure 4. And from here, we want to really be careful to get our stabilizing leg, our foot that's on the ground. We want the ankle just below the knee and the knee right in front of the hip. Let's put our fingers on our sternum and lift our chest up. Notice where you feel that little bit of a strain. We're going to put our hands on our thigh, not our knee, not our shin. And if you feel any discomfort in the knee, I urge you to flex your foot. It's optional. Sometimes I feel like doing it, sometimes I don't. But let's give ourselves a nice, respectful stretch. And respectful is up to your judgment call. You know how far to push yourself. Experiment however you choose, but your body knows better than I do. Deep breath in. If our body says yes, we give ourselves a little bit more of a push. If our body says no and we feel pain, respect that. But if you realize you want that good stretch, then let's challenge it. So let's prepare to activate our leg and hip muscles by keeping our knee down while we lift our hands up. Lift our chest up. We put our hands in, don't write me a posture citation position. From here, lift our chest up a little more and let's reach down. We want to feel a delicate stretch. It's not about touching the ground, but I like to say bring your belly down and your chest up. That helps you get a little bit more of that hinge at the waist or at the hips. And make sure to breathe in here. And like yoga, I welcome you to sink a notch deeper every exhale. See, for this kind of music, I think it's too loud. Amazing. We'll do one more deep breath in and sink a notch deeper. Again, you define what a notch is. And we'll enjoy this for 3, 2, 1. And let's just chill out. Use the back of our chair. Hug our knee into our chest. I like to say hug our knee into our chest, not our chest into our knee. Yeah, I said that right. I thought I said it wrong. So the more you lean back on the chair here, the more effective I believe it is. And notice if you're feeling a stretch all through here. And let's do a few more seconds, but let's challenge it and put our knee to our opposite shoulder. See if you like it more or less. Awesome. And we'll enjoy this for 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Let's just wiggle our booty a little bit. Little booty roll. And let's go right into the other side. And we're just going to rest it here. We'll see if it feels tighter, worse. We're going to feel a little different. But let's notice how it feels. And as a reminder, you do want to come away from the back of the chair for this one. We want to, again, make sure that your knee is right above your ankle, and then your knee is in front of your hip. We're going to put pressure on our thigh. Yeah. One of the other things that I always encourage, if you're into it, if you want to challenge it, you can always put a forearm in there. There's nothing wrong with that. Put a little extra leverage. I personally like lifting my chest up while pushing down. And as a reminder, if you feel the urge to flex your foot, bring it on. Deep breath in as we prepare to hold our knee down and put if this was a yoga class, I'd call it cactus arms. And let's reach down. And as a reminder, I call this version of a seated figure 4 the UPS, the ultimate piriformis stretch. Yeah, sometimes it's definitely not as enjoyable as a reclined pigeon, that's for damn sure. But sometimes the leverage of the chair can help us get deeper into it. Deep breath in and sink a little deeper. Notice if it feels different. Notice if you feel it more really like in your hip versus the lower back, or if you feel it more in your butt area versus your leg. There'll be little nuances between each side. Because very rarely do we actually balance the way we hold our weight up with our hips. Usually it's one leg and one hip that is taking more of the burden than the other side. And I think it's actually an evolutionary trait for us to be that imbalanced. I don't think we're meant to truly be balanced. Deep breath in, and let's sink a little deeper. maybe you actually feel yourself hinging at the waist. And 3, 2, 1. And let's bring our knee to our chest. And use the back of the chair as your best friend. And hug your knee into your chest as if it's something you actually love. Like, say, I love my knee. It's a weird affirmation, but it's something that actually might make sense. We do neglect our knees. And I know a lot of people have fear of the damage that happens to our knees. Deep breath in and sink a little bit. Just completely relax into the chair. Awesome stuff. 3, 2, 1. Awesome stuff. Let's come to stand. I'm just going to get my block ready because we're going to need it soon. But let's move into a little Tai Chi twist. And if you want, you could even do a Tai Chi twist and a hip wiggle together. No one ever said that you couldn't combine the two. And play around with the Tai Chi twist. Maybe keep your feet both on the ground with the Tai Chi twist. That's a different whole setup. And then deliberately lift one foot. Just play around, experiment a little. I really love this class to be like a blank page of experimentation for our body. Excellent stuff. We're going to move into a variation of our monkey flies. So we're going to go and put our hands into a V position. We want to make sure that our knees are slightly bent and our butt is a little bit more out. So from here, we want to imagine our body being a clock. And we want to take that clock to 10:10. Excellent stuff. And a little bit, the more we put our butt out to start and the more we keep it out, the more of a stretch in a lot of our back muscles we'll get. Try not to rotate as much for this one. So it's like, think about getting the thumbs straight back. Yeah. So let's pause for a moment. And if you look up at your hands while we do this, get your thumbs pointed straight back at the end of it. It's a challenging one, but you might feel this as a burn in the middle of your back. That's where actually we want to target this one. And the more we keep our hips back, the more we lift our chest up, the more likely we are to feel it right in that middle of our back. Let's do 3 more. Last one. Awesome. And let's swim it out real quick. So I like to say with this one, we want to anchor, bend our knees a little bit so we anchor our lower body down. And then reach our fingertips all the way towards the ceiling. And feel a little bit of a stretch in the side of the body, maybe in the shoulder. Maybe you notice that there's some resistance and maybe a pinching type sensation in the shoulder. Knowing that we're all messed up, that's common. And now let's backstroke it. And notice how different it feels going backwards versus forward. And we'll do 2 more on each side. Excellent. And let's do 3 surprisingly slow sniffs where we lift our shoulder blades all the way up while we inhale through the nose. And prepare to fully release and let go. And don't breathe out. Just let the exhale come naturally. And really squeeze as hard as possible up. Notice if you're looking down a little bit. We don't want to look down a little, nor do we really want to look up. We want to keep our gaze straight. And release. Last one, all the way up, and release. Excellent stuff. Let's notice how our neck feels standing. So we'll do just very simple, active stretches from side to side. Notice if you get any little cricks or cracks, or feel some pulling. Excellent. Now, let's put our fingers on our sternum. Feet, make sure they're shoulder width apart. Let's bend our knees a little bit. Stick our butt out a little bit. Create that weird little artificial straight spine that we get. Now, we're just going to do some twists with our head and neck. Notice if one of your shoulders is pulling forward a little bit more than the other while you do this. That's something we don't normally think about. I notice my left one having just a subtle more pull forward. Just subtle. Do you notice anything? Excellent. One more each side. And we're just going to do about a 10-second hold of a very simple chin to chest neck stretch. Just super simple. 10, 9, 8. Make sure you're breathing. 6, 5. It's very normal to feel this even pull beyond your neck. 3. Don't overstretch. 2. Deep breath. 1. And just notice how that pull, what that did to your neck. Maybe you feel like, oh, I kind of have, there's something called a stretch reflex. That stretch tends to give it to us where we almost feel tighter immediately after. And that's something that I think it's considered a phenomenon, but it's called a stretch reflex, where we're not actually tightening the muscle, but we perceive it as tight because its response is to protect itself and tighten up a little. From this, we're just going to do our little neck tuck. So I call it a double chin. Same stance, bending our knees, chest up. And now let's bring our head forward. We want to keep our gaze forward. If we're looking up or down, that's not good. And then we want to double chin as we come back. You're looking, yeah, you caught yourself. You were looking down just a little bit. Excellent. You guys got it. Lily, you might be looking up just a little bit. Maybe. You guys are doing great. So let's do 4 more here, and let's squeeze just a little bit harder. 3. It's hard to talk while doing this. 2, 1. Awesome stuff. Let's just do another little Tai Chi twist. Maybe your shoulders have a little bit better movement than the first Tai Chi twist you did. Maybe you have no idea. We're going to do the last couple things on our shoulders. We're going to grab our block or our water bottle or our small puppy. And we're really going to target our lower and middle traps. It's something that in our body is very, very, very neglected. We're going to open up shoulder width apart. Let me actually drop the camera just a touch. Open up our feet shoulder width apart, stick our butt out, lift our chest up. We want to hold on to the block with our hands just like this. And the most important thing for this one is to keep your elbows in. You might already feel a bit of a stretch in the shoulders or across the upper back or mid back. From here, let's stick our butt out even more, look up a little bit, lift our chest up, and lift our elbows up. You'll definitely feel this one. And let's release. So we went more up with this one, but I welcome you also, if you want to challenge it, as long as you can keep your elbows in, go up and forward a little. It's more of a challenge for your shoulders and your back. And remember to breathe. Excellent, Norit. Excellent, Lily. Evelyn, you're looking great. Same thing with you, Joanne. Judy, you're definitely looking great as well. I love this, how I could see the sunset from your window. And let's pause. Notice if we're feeling it around this area. That's where you should feel it. Our upper traps, we hear a lot about them being really tight. The reason they're really tight is because we compensate and use them much more heavily than our lower and our middle traps. We are targeting those lower and middle traps right now. We're going to do one more round of this. Remember to keep your elbows in, your butt back, your chest up, and keep your elbows a little bit bent in a sense as we go forward and up. I welcome you to lift your chest up even more, but keep your hips back. You'll feel that strain in your spine like, damn, that's crazy. And we'll enjoy 4 more of these really slowly. Let's call this 1. Excellent. 2. Remember to breathe. Excellent. 2 last ones. Deep breath in. Excellent. And the last one, keep your elbows in. Butt back a little more. 3, 2, 1. I know I always count slow, but I had to count fast there. Excellent stuff. One last Tai Chi twist. You might even realize right now you got some different tension in your body. You feel it in different spots. Excellent. And let's sniff it out. Maybe your shoulder blades are now falling a little bit easier than they did the first time. Excellent. Let's just do some knee highs just to see how our hips are doing, because we don't want to forget about them after we just spent a lot of time addressing them. Notice if our balance has improved at all. Notice if your balance is worse. With opening up these muscles, it's very possible that your pattern that created balance is now thrown off. And let's just do one more on each side. And ask yourself, are you surprised by which side was more stable? Or which side was more balanced? Are you surprised how balanced you are? That's a whole other thing. Like, and yeah, yoga does help you find balance. That's definitely true. And let's do one last set of monkey flies. Bend our knees, butt back. Let's lift our chest up even more. Butt back even more, chest up even more. And feel how your spine is a little bit more involved this time. We're just tying it all together. And we'll do 5 last ones of these. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And let's just close out by just feeling our neck out a little bit. Roll your shoulders out. Just notice how you're feeling. One of the things I like to notate is oftentimes you'll feel sore in the end of class where you felt achy in the beginning of class. That's definitely something that's common. And let's close out the class in our Norit named it a while ago. So we're going to put our feet shoulder width apart, butt back, chest up. We really want to, from putting our butt back and our chest up, feel a slight little ache in the lower back. Just a little bit of tension. Feeling it? From here, we want to keep our knees bent while we squeeze our butt, basically thrusting forward. Now suck our belly button in, squeeze your butt some more. I call this the pelvic Band-Aid. Release. It is the Band-Aid for the most common causes of lower back pain. Again, bend our knees, butt back, chest up. Just feel that subtle little ache. Keep the knees bent as you squeeze your butt forward, suck your belly button in, and squeeze your butt some more. And for our last one, butt back, chest up, knees bent, squeeze your butt forward, suck your belly button in, and squeeze your butt some more. Keep it squeezed. And now let's, as Norit called it, what was it, the duty walk? Yeah. Isn't that what you call it? The poop walk. That was it, poop walk. Keep your butt squeezed as you walk around. I like to call it the duck walk. It's a better name. Yeah, it was the poop walk. That's what it was. Let me unmute you, Norit. How you feeling? Hard, what you thought?
Poo-poo sounds much better than poop, Matthew.
Oh, the poo-poo walk. That was it. That was the name. All right, I said it wrong.
More like, you know.
Thank you. The poo-poo walk. That was it.
Poo-poo. It sounds like more like ooh la la. I don't know, a little bit more.
It sounds very graceful. How are you feeling, Norit?
Feeling good. Thank you. You wore me out, which is great.
Yeah, we needed to get a little bit heated up and get the muscles activated. And hopefully we can all feel a little bit of a release of our stress.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How are you feeling, Joanne? Oh, I still can't hear you. But, and as a reminder, if you are able to make it to Saturday's class, I'm doing some targeted neck mobility and some neck stuff where I want us to have a towel. If you don't have a towel, I assume you have a towel because you're at home. But you can also use a t-shirt or something like that. But any sort of cloth that's flexible, we're going to take our time and really dive deep into our neck.
You can use a puppy too, right, Matthew?
You can't use a puppy for that one. You can use a fur coat.
No, it's the poopy walking.
No puppy for this one. How are you doing, Judy? Judy?
Oh, I didn't hear you. Oh, I'm okay.
Thank you, Joanne. How are you feeling, Lily?
Good. I needed to distress. Stressful day today. So
yeah,
good.
There's a lot of stress going on. How How about you, Evelyn? How are you feeling?
Good. Been a while that I've been to the PP class, so I really felt
The
this
middle of the back stuff?
yeah, was good, but
Excellent.
more flexible in my hips.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad you're doing good with your hips.
Yesterday was 1 year,
Hell yeah. It's amazing.
and congratulations to you guys because it's been a year, right? That you guys have been open.
Yes. Yeah, we're a couple days behind, but we're announcing our first anniversary special that we're going to do a little something special for you guys and then try to promote it to our non-members as well. But we got something cool coming for you guys. I've been talking about something similar for a while. And if you guys are into it, if you guys want to stay for a next class, you do have to log in. I can log you guys in. But our new teacher, Derek, is going to be teaching a yin class. And he's awesome. He's going to be our Thursday yin. And it's going to be amazing stuff. And this is Derek right here.
Hi everyone, how are you?
Hello.
So feel free to sign up for that whenever you choose. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon and hopefully Saturday at 11. And we get to work on our neck. Have a
Awesome.
balanced night.
Have a good evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.